Actually, I think I know the next creepy cryptid story I should give whoever redeems it. I really like Black Eyed Kids stories. I don't know if anyone here knows what those are. So, but I'll save that for the next redeem. They're not. All right, that was fast. Hold on, Fid. Do you want me to tell Black Eyed Kids, or do you want me to tell something else? All right. Yeah, they're actually a fairly new one. Black Eyed. Okay, so Black Eyed Kids. Fun fact. Are you sure you want me to tell you about this? Because according to the Black Eyed Kids mythos, by knowing about the Black Eyed Kids, you are more likely to run into a Black Eyed Kid. So, with that said, you're all welcome. The Black Eyed Kids, they appear. Yeah, right. There's a couple different thoughts on what they are, but anyway, the moral of the story is they appear kind of either at your house in the middle of the night, or like outside your car, and they start beating on the door, and you open up the door, or you roll down the window or whatever, and they kind of just go, hey, we need blah blah blah, or let us in to use your phone, or hey, we got separated from our parents, like, you know, the kind of normal, like, we want to take care of these kids kind of situations. And yeah, people people get entranced by them, and like, until you notice that they have solid black eyes, and something's real weird. They have real weirdly formal speech patterns, and a lot of times their clothes are like 2 or 3 decades out of date, or even like centuries out of date. So if you don't let them in and you shut the door, they'll start pounding on things and screaming, and their voices will get more demonic and such. And there's stories of people in like not letting the kids in, and then going upstairs in a 2 or 3 story house, and then having the kid staring at them through their window, beating on their window, screaming at them all night until sunrise. The actual first recorded story of a Black Eyed Kid happened in 1996 in a place called Abilene, Texas. Legitimately a news reporter stopped to pay his internet bill, and it was right around the time Mortal Kombat came out. He was sitting there, he was writing the check to make to drop in the nighttime deposit box, and he noticed like 2 kids standing outside his window, and it's weird. They were wearing like clothes that would be not out of place to kids in the 70s, and he was like, oh, that's kind of weird, blah, blah, blah. And they start beating on on his door, and like, hey, we really want to go see the movie, but we left our money at home, and we can't get a hold of our mom, and we're out of money for the payphone. Can you drive us home? And he was like, yeah, okay, fine. No, this, rural Texas, blah, blah. And then he notices they have black eyes, and he's like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. So they started beating on his car and beating on those windows and stuff and screaming at him, and he drove away. And he since encountered them like 2 or 3 more times. But in the stories that have been told, no one lets them in, and they torment them for the rest of the night, and occasionally come back. There's 1 or 2 stories where people have let them in, and when they've let them in, their lives have completely just fallen apart within the next few months. Like, one of the stories, a guy let him in and found out like 6 months later he had pancreatic cancer. Like, all 3 of his cats died within the next like couple weeks. His wife was in a severe car accident and was had severe injuries, and it's just like all their lives went all to hell. And they blame it on the Black Eyed Kids. So there's this weird connection with them though, where they'll come in, they'll say, oh, our parents are going to pick us up, and if you wait long enough, eventually like a real old looking car pulls up, like a 70s like G-Man car, and the people in the front seat look like the stereotypical Men in Black stories. Like what's his name wrote I can't think of his name. Anyway, he wrote Convergence and stuff like that. The alien guy, he was involved in the Mothman prophecies. I can't think of his name. Stanton Friedman. Like the stories like Stanton Friedman had, and they'll come and pick them up and like, oh, those are our parents, and they look like the stereotypical like Men in Black stories. So there's a couple theories on what they are. You know, there's the obvious, they're the childhood Men in Black, they're demons that are trying to corrupt people, they're aliens, you know, there's all those different stories. But yeah, sightings of them have waxed and waned over the last 20 years, but they're a fairly new cryptid. It's actually I love those stories. They're all really creepy, but like, yeah, they all universally have those things in mind. There's actually also a white-eyed kid story that has shown up before, and so the black-eyed kid's knock on this guy's door, and everything goes down like normal. He realizes, oh, these kids have fully black eyes, and so he slams the door in their face, and he's the beating and stuff starts and everything, and they're screaming at him, and all of a sudden it stops, and he's just like, it's not right. Let's go. All right. And then he hears like a gentle knock at the door. It's like, all right, well, the previous knock was real forceful and everything. So he goes and opens the door, and there's a kid standing there, you know, dressed kind of like the other ones were, but pure white eyes. And she looks at him and goes, were they bothering you? And he's like, yeah. And she goes, you won't have to worry about them anymore. I took care of them. And then just turns and walks off into the night. Yeah, no, that's one of the more recent ones. It's fun, actually. I'll have to explain tulpas one time, but there's a thought process that they might actually be tulpas as well. But the modern day cryptids, like there's a lot of them that are starting to pop up. And to quote, "Fuck them kids." But there's a lot of modern day cryptids that like have popped up within like the internet age, and the theory is that they're tulpas, and it's I don't have all the specifics. Like I know what a tulpa is, but I don't have like all the specifics like memorized for it. But basically, it's a thought beast. Like if enough people think something. Have any of you seen American Gods? They talk about it in there. The only way to kill a god is to not deny worship. That's the way that they look at it. So the old gods like Odin and so on and so forth in American Gods are in a war with the new gods, like the gods of the internet, the gods of fame, the gods of Hollywood, blah blah blah. But the gods themselves are tulpas. They only exist because a mass amount of people believe in them. And because that mass amount of people believe in them, they have become sentient consciousnesses. The same thing kind of works in the Warhammer 40k universe. The Chaos Gods and the demons and stuff are all technically tulpas. They're thought beasts that have gained full sentience. And there's a theory that the Black-Eyed Kids were originally like kind of a one-off something. And then these stories kind of pushed them more and more into the light. More and more people started to go to know them, and they're becoming a tulpa phenomenon. It's the same theories out there for the Men in Black. Slenderman. Slenderman was a creepypasta, and then now there's actually reported sightings of him. Although there technically is a Slenderman from the Middle Age Germany, Black Forest area, but that's a whole other story. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's Black-Eyed Kids. That's there's a lot of stories, and they all pretty much basically all ring true with those specific situations. But yeah, the first recorded sighting of them was in 96, and almost everyone who has seen them has had a major negative life-changing event in their family within a few months of seeing them. So yeah, as Divine said there, fuck them kids. Man, I didn't know that cryptids was going to be such a popular category. I would have done it first.